Welcome to r/slash best of Redditor updates, where OP gets accused of stealing a boyfriend. Our next Reddit post is from r/slash relationship advice. I'm a 26-year-old woman, and I've been friends with Carly, also a 26-year-old woman, since middle school. We lost touch after I moved out of state for law school, but our parents are still friends. I moved back to our home state last year when I graduated and met Matt, a 25-year-old guy. We bonded instantly, as we're both studying to be lawyers. Matt should graduate this year if all goes well. Because of studying and work, we've taken things really slowly and only just recently became official. As we'd gone official, I decided to invite him to my sister's 21st birthday party. It was a huge party at my parents' house back in my hometown. Both Matt and I work and live separately about 1 hour away. We'd been at the party for about an hour when Carly arrived with her parents. I was excited to see her, as I'd been meaning to get back in touch since I moved back. The timing had never been right. Well, Carly spotted us and hurried on over. I was surprised when she gave Matt a huge hug and asked him what he was doing at the party. Turns out they work in the same building, and Matt is friends with a few of Carly's friends. They've been out on group nights together a few times. I did the whole, "Oh, Carly, this is my boyfriend Matt" thing, and her face instantly fell. She looked furious with me and ignored me for the rest of the party. I sent her a message the next morning asking if I'd done anything wrong. Carly blew up at me and accused me of stealing her boyfriend, and I got several rude messages from mutual friends that said something similar. I met up with Matt and asked him what the hell was going on. I'd assumed that once we made it official, we were exclusive. Matt had no idea what I was talking about. I relayed Carly's message, and he was even more confused. He said that he got on with Carly when they saw each other, but it had never been anything more than a friendship. He didn't think anything of them spending time together outside of work with friends, so that's why I didn't know that he and Carly worked in the same building. It's been a week since the party, and I'm still getting messages from people about, "How could you do that to Carly?" I've tried saying over and over again that Matt and Carly weren't dating, but it's falling on deaf ears. Even my parents have heard about it from Carly's parents. I have zero idea what the hell to do. Where do I go from here? I trust Matt completely, but what do I do about Carly? Then, one day later, OP posted an update. Well, I met up with Carly. They're not dating and never were, so Matt isn't a cheater. I met up with Carly this morning at a coffee shop in our hometown. She wasn't happy to be there, but I'm over her feelings over the past week that I've had. I sat her down and asked her to give me her side of the story. I told her exactly what Matt had said to me and asked for her to explain everything. So Carly met Matt last year, not long before I moved back to the state. A mutual friend in the building they both work in invited Matt to an after-work drinks, and that's when they met. Carly thought that he was cute and started flirting with him. Sidebar, Matt is awful at picking up flirting cues. It took weeks of me flirting with him until he realized and asked me out. This is something I always find amusing because Matt himself is really outgoing with a lot of charisma. No, they never spent any time together alone apart from the odd run to a coffee shop near the building to grab lunch. I went through Carly's phone and there are no messages from Matt apart from ones in their group chat. They haven't kissed or slept together. Carly's never been to Matt's apartment and Matt's never been to Carly's apartment. I asked her why she thought he was her boyfriend. This is a direct quote. "Okay, so we're not officially boyfriend and girlfriend yet, but I was sure he was going to ask me really soon. He's always smiling at me and making jokes. I know he was going to ask me out, just the two of us." I basically said, "Carly, that's not him flirting with you. That's just Matt. He's a friendly guy. I'm sorry, but he and I have been seeing each other for a while now, so it's not going to happen." I explained how we'd been taking it slow because of us both being so busy with studying and work, so we've only just made it official. As I said all this, I could see Carly's elaborate fantasy crumble. I asked her to please set the record straight with her parents, for my parents' sake, and with our mutual friends. Carly looked flustered, but mumbled something along the lines of, "Yeah, fine." I said that I was sorry for this misunderstanding, and hopefully we could all put this behind us. On my drive to Matt's apartment, I called him to relay everything. He was baffled by the whole thing, but said that he would message Carly. Once I got there, he showed me the text. "Hey, Carly, look, I'm sorry if I misled you in any way with my actions. Please know that they have only ever been from a friendly place. I see us as friends, but that's all. I hope we can be friends in the future once this is all blown over, but if you're not comfortable with that, then I respect it. All the best, Matt. Carly hasn't responded yet, and I don't know if she will. Hopefully, she'll set the record straight with everyone. I'm washing my hands of this mess and focusing on my relationship with Matt and my studies. Well, between the two girls that Matt could have dated, Matt clearly picked the right girl because Carly is a bit bonkers. Also in the comments, we have this story from Black Cat Just That. Okay, so the same thing happened to me, except it was actually even worse because we're all middle-aged and the woman in question was married, supposedly happily, as far as I knew. My husband said that she had explicitly told him that she could, quote, never be interested in him, so he thought that it was safe to be spending time alone with her. My husband had also met her husband, so we knew that everything was on the up and up there. Also, the woman literally encouraged him to ask me out once it was obvious that I was into him. I lost an entire friend group because they all sided with the insane married woman who had called dibs on my husband, but only in her mind. I was supposed to have read her mind and known that it would break her heart if I went out with him. What I still can't get over is that 4 other people knew all of these details and still shut me out as if I was a homewrecker. Sometimes you just can't win against crazy. The one fact missing from this extra story is how did the other husband feel about his wife having her heart broken over this guy? Oh, babe, I'm so sorry that woman stole your man. Like, how does that conversation go exactly? Our next Reddit post is from rSlash Off My Chest. I met my wife when I was 15 in high school. She was 17. The latter part of my teenage years was probably the hardest of my life, since in half a year, I lost my mother. I never knew my dad, so she was the only thing I could consider family. At the time, me and my wife were only friends, but she was there for me and grieved with me. I think I started developing feelings for her during that time. We started dating when I was 17, and we got married 7 years later. For context, my wife has been very frugal and unmaterialistic. She's never cared about clothes, makeup, brands, cars, etc. Always spending money on thrift shops or during sales on whatever she liked. I remember trying to impress her with my 370Z just for her to react with, "What car is this? A Corolla?" So yeah, I think you get the type. But that's what I liked about her the most. And also, she's the most caring person I ever knew. In our family, she's the successful one, always working in big corporations. Regarding myself, I always worked as a community first responder for my local hospital. The salary wasn't high, but I loved my job helping people as I could. Fast forward, 2 years ago, she received an offer from an important company for an executive position offering 4 times her salary. And let me tell you, her salary wasn't bad originally by any means, but we would have to move to a different city. At first, I was doubtful since that would have meant losing my job and not being sure if I could have contributed financially to our family for an indefinite time period. But she said that she could have sustained the family effortlessly with this new job, and for that time, I could have looked after the house and groceries till I could have found a new job. Since she was so enthusiastic, I accepted. I was happy to support my wife's career. Well, the best way I could put it is that my wife underwent a crazy transformation. Some Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde type thing, if you know what I mean. She started caring more and more about luxury brands, jewels, cars, etc. I don't think you can quite imagine my disbelief seeing her coming back home with a Versace bag after seeing her for years wearing $10 coats from our local thrift shop. She also started hanging out with her new female coworkers a lot. My wife isn't very extroverted or very social, so that was quite the shock. But I was very, very happy for her. I thought that she finally found her dimension after years of struggling. But that happiness started fading after she started coming way later home every day, and later, until it was a miracle to be able to talk to her for 10 minutes a day. I thought that she was busy with work, till she started posting lots of photos of her with her coworkers drinking, going shopping, and stuff. The fun part is, she never finds time to reply to my text, but she always has a minute to post photos. And when she replies, she says that she's working. She's also literally stopped saying things to me altogether. Have you ever experienced your wife or husband going to work in an Audi A3 and then coming back home with a Porsche Macan GTS? Let me do a price check on that real quick. That is a roughly $120,000 car. Well, I did, and let me tell you, it's no fun. I confronted her on if it was a business-issued car, which it isn't. Then on why she spent so much money on a car when she didn't even care, not even a little, about cars. Her passive-aggressive response was that it's her money and she's entitled to do as she pleases. Or have you experienced not seeing your wife or husband coming back home for a night and not replying to a text just to receive a call the following afternoon saying that she forgot telling me that she left for a business trip? Well, I hope you haven't. But the worst is when she invited me for lunch with her coworkers. I was very happy because that was the first time that we were doing something together in months. And I thought that what I had experienced before was only a phase and that it had ended. My wife left first because she had work to do. So I dressed up nicely and left 2 hours later to the scheduled restaurant. Well, I get to the restaurant, park my Renault Clio car in front of it, and get inside just to see my wife staring at me like she's horror-stricken. She gets up from the table and takes me outside of the restaurant, then proceeds to literally insult me for parking my Clio in front of the restaurant and in front of her table, saying that I embarrassed her and that I should have parked it somewhere hidden. I was completely at a loss for words. I asked her why, and she said that it was a cheap, non-luxury car, not representative of her lifestyle. She then gets back inside the restaurant, warning me not to embarrass her like this again. I attended the rest of the lunch in shock. That day, I realized that the girl I had at my side wasn't my wife. It wasn't the girl I'd married anymore. My wife is now out of the house, celebrating a great year for the company, and I'm here at home writing this with divorce papers in front of me. I don't think I can handle this situation anymore. I tried lots and lots of times to talk to her, to tell her how I feel, to tell her that she changed, that she's not the same woman I knew. But she just doesn't listen. She always says that she has no time and that she needs to work, or she tries to minimize the situation, saying it's not true that she's never changed. She wanted kids, but she doesn't want them anymore, saying that they would rob her time from her career. She wanted to travel, now she doesn't want to do it for the same reason. Is she really the same woman that I married? Then, one day later, OP posted an update. Well, after that business party, my wife didn't come back home. I tried contacting her since I was very worried, but she didn't pick up the phone, not even once. She came back home in the morning exactly when I was about to leave for her workplace to ask about her. I asked her what happened, and she said she stayed at this female coworker's house since she drank a lot and she was in no condition to drive. Fair enough. I told her that she could have sent a text to warn me and that I would have gone to get her. Her response was, "With what? The Clio?" I stood there in silence. And she later said that she forgot about warning me. I asked her how she was feeling, only to be answered in monosyllables. We minded our own business for a while. Then she comes to me and says she has something to discuss. I tell her I have something to discuss with her too. And well, would you look at that? She asked for divorce. I wasn't expecting that at all. I asked her why, and her reply was that after talking to her friends, she understood that I wasn't fit to be her husband. That we have different values and different lifestyles, and that she deserves a man of a similar worth compared to her. She was just waiting for the right time to bring it up, and after the party, she made up her mind. I'm gonna be completely honest, that was a low blow, but I just smiled at her. I tried talking to her, proposing to separate for a while to see how things go. I even proposed couples therapy like someone suggested, but she was dead set on it. So I calmly told her everything I needed to say, from the fact that I was thinking about divorce too, to the fact that I felt like she changed, concluding saying that I'm sure she'll find an awesome man, since I know her worth having been her husband for more than 9 years, but that I know what I'm worth too. But, well, I understood that my wife couldn't care less about me when the lengthiest discussion we had about our divorce was about who was taking the dog. For context, we got the dog about a month after moving since she always wanted one and to keep me some company. But in 2 years, she probably spent the equivalent of 2 hours with him. I always took care of him, and well, he's been a more loyal companion in those 2 years. So she literally made a fuss about the fact that I couldn't take the dog with me for maybe half an hour or so. I told her that I didn't care at all. I was taking him with me since she doesn't have time to care for him. And it was very strange for her to say those things when she didn't even care not even a bit about him for 2 years. So I packed the necessary things, and before leaving, I asked her if she was cheating on me, and she denied it. I'll trust her on that. I read a lot of people in the previous post talking about hiring a private investigator, but I'm not gonna do that. I trust what she said, and even if it wasn't the truth, I honestly don't want to hear anything about it. It would only make me feel worse. I feel calm, but inside, I feel like I've lost an important piece of myself. The things she said didn't hurt me initially, however, the more I think about them, the more heartbroken I feel. But I'm trying to focus on nicer thoughts, like meeting one of my old friends who I haven't seen in a long time. I'm still trying to process everything. It all happened so fast. Though, I must say that seeing my dog so happy inside the Clio brightened up my mood a lot. He loves car rides. Sounds to me like OP's wife hooked up with some toxic friends who were always bad-mouthing OP and trying to push her into being more materialistic, and unfortunately, OP's wife listened. That was rSlash Best of Redditor updates, and if you like this content, check out my podcast where I publish the exact same episodes. Also, hit that subscribe button because I put out new Reddit videos every single day.